Have you ever noticed that voice inside your head? The one that keeps reminding you of your failures, your fears, and every reason why you might never succeed? Most people think words are just sounds, but what if the things you repeat to yourself every day are actually shaping your future? This is the story of Daniel, a quiet 32-year-old delivery driver who looked normal from the outside, but secretly destroyed himself with negative thoughts. Every morning he complained about life, called himself a failure, and expected the worst from every situation, until one rainy night, after his van broke down on an empty road, he realized something terrifying. Maybe his words weren't just describing his life, maybe they were creating it. Determined to change, Daniel challenged himself to replace every negative thought with a better one, even when he didn't believe it yet. Soon he met an old gardener named Mr. Chen, who taught him that words are like seeds. Whatever you plant consistently will eventually grow. Day by day, Daniel stopped saying, "I always fail," and started saying, "I'm learning and growing." Instead of "nothing works for me," he chose "good things are coming my way." At first it felt fake, but slowly his mindset changed, his confidence returned, people treated him differently, and opportunities began appearing where he once saw only problems. For the first time in years, Daniel understood that the most powerful voice in his life was his own. And maybe the same is true for you, because the voice in your head can either build your future or destroy it. So for the next few days, pay attention to the way you speak about yourself. Replace every curse with a blessing, every doubt with hope, every negative thought with a better truth. Your mind is a garden, your words are seeds, and your future depends on what you plant today. Weeks turned into months, and Daniel began noticing changes he never thought were possible. The problems in his life didn't magically disappear, but something inside him had changed. He no longer saw himself as powerless. One morning, while delivering packages, he met a woman who dropped her groceries in the rain. The old Daniel would have kept walking, too exhausted and negative to care, but this time he helped her gather everything, and she smiled warmly before saying, "You have kind energy." Those simple words stayed with him all day because no one had ever described him that way before. At work, his supervisor started trusting him with bigger responsibilities, and for the first time, Daniel didn't immediately think, "I'll mess this up." Instead, he quietly told himself, "I can handle this." Little by little, the life he once believed was cursed started feeling hopeful. But the real test came when Daniel faced a major setback, a financial problem that would have once sent him into panic and self-hatred. He sat alone in his apartment, the old thoughts returning louder than ever. "You'll never escape this life. You're still a failure." For a moment, he almost believed them again, but then he remembered the garden. Seeds take time to grow, and weeds always try to come back. So instead of surrendering, he stood in front of the mirror and said, "This situation is difficult, but it will not destroy me. I am stronger than I used to be. I will find a way forward." Days later, an unexpected opportunity appeared, a better-paying position at work that his supervisor recommended him for because of his improved attitude and reliability. That night, Daniel realized something powerful. Changing your words doesn't instantly change the world around you, but it changes the person facing that world. And when you change internally, your entire life begins to move in a different direction. From then on, Daniel became careful with every sentence he spoke, because he understood a truth most people never realize. Your mind is always listening, and eventually it becomes what you repeatedly tell it. Years later, Daniel often returned to the same community garden where his transformation began. The empty, abandoned plot that once reflected his broken mindset was now full of life. bright flowers, healthy vegetables, and trees strong enough to give shade to others. One evening, a young man named Adam sat beside him, looking exhausted and hopeless. After listening for a few minutes, Daniel noticed something familiar. "Nothing ever works for me," Adam said. "I'm tired of trying. Maybe this is just who I am." Hearing those words felt like listening to his old self speak again. Daniel smiled gently and handed him a small notebook. "I used to say the exact same things," he admitted. Adam looked surprised. "You? You seem so positive." Daniel laughed quietly. "I wasn't always this way. I spent years destroying myself with my own thoughts." Then he pointed toward the garden and said, "Do you see those plants? Every single one started as a tiny seed. The mind works the same way. Whatever you repeat every day, fear, doubt, confidence, hope, eventually grows." Adam stared silently at the ground while Daniel continued. "The hardest part isn't changing your life overnight. The hardest part is choosing better words when the old ones feel more believable." Before leaving, Daniel told him one final thing. "Your future is listening to the words you speak today." That night, Adam opened the notebook and wrote his first new sentence. "Maybe my story isn't over yet." And just like that, another seed was planted. Because sometimes the smallest change in the way you speak to yourself can become the beginning of an entirely new life.